Hello everybody, today we're going to be doing another programming example. Now in today's programming example, we are going to be going over string functions. Now these string functions can be used for a wide variety of things. Now a couple of string functions to note are the clear function, which you can see right here. If I declare a couple of variables like, let's say string 1, comma, string 2, comma, string 3, comma, string 4. Now, the clear function pretty much means that if I write in string 1 is equal to I have a house or something, all lowercase, and then I use the clear function. So I do something like string dot clear string 1 dot clear, and then we just semicolon. Now if we see out string 1, and now actually, just so that we know that we're actually printing something at the end, I'm gonna do this and write an exclamation mark so that we know that something is printing. Now then it's gonna print string 1, which should theoretically not print anything because we just cleared it before. So now we run the program, and it just prints out that little exclamation mark, meaning that we really just did clear out string 1, just removed all values from it. And now we're going to use the empty function. Now this actually returns a value. It is unlike this function. It is unlike the clear function because the clear function is actually void, while the empty function is not. So let's say string 2 is equal to 40. I'll just put strings in that. And string 3 is equal to just that. Now here we're going to see out string 2 is equal to string 2 dot empty is equal to string 2 dot empty. Now this function right here, will actually return a true or false variable. It will return variables of type Boolean. So then after that we just endo. We enter cout string 3 dot empty oh, almost forgot to put a p in the empty is equal to string 3 dot empty. And then we write an endo at the end. So now we can run the program safely. So you can see right here that we have this little exclamation mark. That's from the last thing. We're just going to leave that there. We'll actually, how about we add a few exclamation marks so we can more or less have an idea what that is, because I always have trouble seeing it. So check it out once again. Okay, now one thing you may notice is that it did not return true or false. It actually returned 0 and 1. Now you may recall that something is false, and you may recall that a computer is actually just a system that uses ones and zeros to do all of its calculations. Now in this case, 0 means false, and 1 means true. So string 3 is empty, and string 2 is not empty. See? Now another thing we should do is, before it's too late, we should include the header file string, just in case anything that we need to do, because we're going to be doing a lot of coding involving strings. So in case anything that we're going to do requires that header file. So let's run this again. Okay. Now for the computer, this will actually be false, and this will actually be true, but there's pretty much no way there's actually no way to fit something in here so that it can return true or false, like as in the true or false literal string, like the actual word, instead of just returning 1 or 0, because that's pretty much what it will print, no matter if you print it out inside of the output terminal. Now the easiest way to make it so that it returns true or false in the terminal is if you make a function which, if it returns false, for example, then it prints out the actual word false, but if it is not false, then it prints out the actual word true. So that's just for you to keep in mind if you ever need to make a function that adheres to those rules. Anyways, we can now move on to the erase. Now, what the erase function does is it actually can do a couple of things. For example, the erase function on its own. For example, if I have string 1, if I have like string 4 is equal to C++ programming. Now, for example, if I write in string 4 dot erase and I write in 11, 4, now what this will actually do is it will take the 11th number and starting from there, it will clear out the next 4 numbers. It will pretty much erase up from the string. Now when we run this program, well, actually, wait, sorry. First we need to then cout string 4. End out. Now we should get C++ program. See? Now just a quick refresher for you guys. What the erase function actually does is it goes forward 11 spaces in the program, and then starting from there, it erases the next 4 digits. Well, it erases the next digit. So let's say that this is n. Actually, this is the position, which will stand for POS, and this will be n. So first it goes to the position that it wants you to start from. Now the position is going to be the last number that you do not want to erase. Then you erase the next amount of numbers that you want to erase. Now, mind you, I could have instead replaced 4, in this case, with 3. And you can see what I got. I won't get an error or anything. I will just get C++ program. So, yeah. It's pretty much how those functions work. Fairly simple, if you ask me. Now, the next function that we are going to be going over that involves strings is the length function. Now, you may have remembered this function from previous programs, as I may have used them in the past. Now, what this function does is it actually measures the length of the string that you have. For example, if I take a string and I will cout, I'm actually going to add, comma, string 5 right there. Cout. Now string 5 will be equal to the siege of Constantinople. I guess actually let's go something a little bit more simple. Hello, Bob. Anyways, now at the bottom here, we're going to cout string 5 dot length. And here we declare char. Never mind, hold on. So here we now have that. So if we go down here, and Hello Bob actually has 9 characters. Well, technically 10, but we count them out. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this may be sort of weird for all of you, but I accidentally made a little mistake here. Now you see when I said that it actually has 10 characters, forget what I said there. This actually has 9 characters. Now you may be a bit confused considering the fact that the last character is actually the 8th character. Now you also will be forgetting that the first character counts as 0. Now you also count that 0 when talking about the characters as a whole, when you're talking about the length. Now, that pretty much means that this is truly and actually 9 characters long. Now, we can go over the next function, which is actually the size function. Now here, we are going to write in, let's see. Now, the size function is pretty much the exact same thing as the length function. I don't know why you would use it rather than the length function. There are many reasons you might. For example, sometimes you want to increase the readability, but it's still the same thing. But I'm still going to show you an example. So, here I'm going to write I'm going to make a character. I'm going to make a string, called string sentence. Now, sentence in this case will be equal to string 5 plus comma now string 5 is actually hello Bob. Now string 1, we're going to add string 1 to it, and there we go. Now we can see out the length of the size of, then here we write in now you see the reason we're putting the slash and then the quote and the quotation marks is because we need to do this if we want to have a quotation mark inside of our string, because if you put a quotation mark inside of the string, the program will automatically count that or interpret that as you wanting a string to be there, and that can mess up with stuff inside of your string. So C++ invented this. Well, it probably didn't invent it, but C++ has this, so you can put quotation marks inside of your strings. So the size of sentence and then here we put another apostrophe. And then in between these two, we put it as equal to, and then we can enter. Move on to the next line. The string 5 dot size. Actually, sorry, this is supposed to be sentence. So now we can run our program. Oh, it's a little mistake right there. Oops. Let me we'll just copy and paste that. Well, we can run it again. Hello, Bob. I have a house. Is equal to 25 characters. Now you see, size doesn't actually provide a difference, actually, in the whatever you choose to use. It doesn't actually give you any difference between them, so yeah. It might give you a difference in different IDEs, though in code blocks I get no difference whatsoever. Now, something I also need to note, that in certain in some programs you may need to use a static cast for any time you want to use the size or length functions. So depending on what IDE you use, for example, I'm using code blocks, and code blocks is convenient, so I don't actually have to do anything extra so that it can print out the size. So here you actually have to write in unsigned int. Now it might work for certain it might not work depending on your IDE, as I said before, but it's also pretty good to add in the static cast and change this to an unsigned integer, because it means that you get more data values. Because for now what an unsigned integer does is it makes it so that it pretty much deletes the signs of your integer, meaning the only value for an unsigned integer can be positive. Now, the reason that anybody would even do this is because an integer can normally only hold values from negative 32,668 to 32,767. But an unsigned integer since it has no negative values, can actually hold numbers from 0 to 65,535. Now, it's fairly unnecessary to even do this static cast and change it to an unsigned integer, but it can always help in case somebody just puts in an absurdly long string. So yeah. Now if we run the program again, we should get pretty much no actual change. And because an unsigned int at these small values will pretty much give you the same thing. But once people start entering, let's say, paragraphs, that can maybe even books, then it gets pretty useful to use the unsigned integer data type. Anyways, I guess that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!